I couldn't make the folks. I haven't made any of the folksal folk. It's a nice play on folk and castle. Anyway, I couldn't make them any of those meetings, but I heard this week was Grey, so I'm going to do my Grey song, which is of course the Grey Funnel Line by Cyril Tourney, and for most everyone knows what it's about, but it's a couple of lines. The Grey
Sorry,
Funnel.
it's taken.
The Grey Funnels are.
Half of the people came on and said, "Can I do the Gray Funnel line?" And they said, "No, it's taken," after the first
Well,
one did it. But we'll make an exception for
I
you.
am taking it in this session. And the Grey Funnel lines are the smokestacks of the naval ships, all painted grey. And it has special poignancy because Cyril Tourney was a submariner. So he may have actually seen those grey funnels in a line just above the horizon. The other thing is there's a line about when blue water turns to green, and that's usually about when a ship crosses from deep ocean to the continental shelf and the water changes from a deep blue to a green. And that's it. So here we go. Little whistle intro. Don't mind the sun and the rolling sea, the weary night never worries me. The hardest time in a sailor's day is to watch the sun as it fades away. It's one more day on the Grey Funnel Line. The finest ship that sails the sea is still a prison for the likes of me. But give me wings like Noah's dove, I'll fly up higher to the one I love. It's one more day on the Grey Funnel Line. There was a time my heart was free, like a floating spar on the open sea. But now that spar is washed ashore, it comes to rest at my real love's door. It's one more day on the Grey Funnel Line. Every time I gaze behind the screws, makes me long for St. Peter's shoes. I'll walk on down that silver lane and take my love in my arms again. It's one more day on the Grey Funnel Line. Oh Lord, if dreams were only real, I'd have my hands on that wooden wheel, and with all my heart I would turn her round and tell the boys that we're homeward bound. It's one more day on the grey funnel line. I'll pass the time like some machine until blue water turns to green. Then I'll dance down that walk ashore and sail the grey funnel line no more, and sail the grey funnel line no more. It's one more day on the grey funnel line.
That was quite wonderful.
Very
The first time I heard that song, I thought he was singing the gray flannel line. And it might be about Wall Street or about the textile industry. I don't know. Makes sense now. Makes sense. Thank you. And now we have Steve. Is it Andasaw? Tell us.
Andasaw, yes.
No, good, good.
Correct,
Okay,
okay.
this how we do this is we mute everyone, and then when we're ready, I'll let you know, and you can unmute yourself.
Okay.
So I'm muting everyone now. So Steve, when you're ready, you can unmute.
I'm ready and I'm unmuted. I would like to play you a little tune on my panpipes to evoke various childhood memories. And this is a very happy childhood memory. Trip to the fairground. So, roll up, roll up, roll up, all the fun of the fair.
Well, good evening, friends. Yeah, I do like to be beside the seaside.
Hey.
I've got a lot
Oh boy, are you getting Of course, we invite
Hold back
everyone
a few
back.
childhood memories for people there.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
great.
In the hands of a Northern Englishman, an Andean panpipe, and a German concertina becomes a Wurlitzer. It's beautiful.
Yes, yes,
Or a
yes.
calliope.
Or a merry-go-round. Wow. The last time I saw a similar thing was Mike Seeger used to do the songs of what's his name? Thomas. Sorry to say Clarence Thomas. Anyway, he was an old blues man that played the panpipes, and I'm not sure if he did it the same way that Mike did it, but Mike mounted a set of pipes. Now, these were wooden or bamboo panpipes on a harmonica rack, and he did several songs like that. But you're using a music stand.
Music
right?
stand, yes.
Yeah, very clever. Little clamps. So where did the pipes come from?
China. I was hunting for them everywhere. I just couldn't find them. Then I suddenly discovered a company that exports imports specialist things from China, and it's not real panpipes. It's each one has got a little whistle mouthpiece on the end.
Ah, fiddle.
It's actually classified as a trainee panpipe.
Ah, I love the fiddle. I'm with you.
Yeah, that's great. The other example of that is those Andean pipes that they play in Bolivia. The difference there is sometimes they have a different part of the scale, alternate notes, on two different sets of pipes, and people play them together. So nobody has the whole scale. They have to do it back and forth, and whole communities play this stuff. So it's a great tradition.
That was very entertaining, though. Thank you.
It was great.
Thank you very much.
Childhood
Okay.
festival.
All right, now who's going to follow that act? Let's see.
Tom.
Yeah, of course.
Tom, he's
Yeah.
the only one. He's the only one who can follow an act like that. So I'm muting everyone.
Loved it.
So when you're ready, Tom. You know.
Okay, I've spent the last week watching every possible clip of Charlie Watts on every possible TV show, anything he ever did, and just brought out this. Hello, Charlie. Growing up with the Stones, Charlie was always the calm one, the doer one. He's fixed beat and countenance reliable, stone face among Rolling Stones, jazz drummer among rock giants. Of course he jammed, man, with other bands, man, with trios and quartets and quintets and jazz clubs. This made him happy more than $1 million tours. He was most at ease among close friends, did not need to play an image, just his drums. And that beat that sustained the Stones over so many years. I had, of course, seen him behind his kit, but never got too close. Now our Charlie's playing in that jazz club in the sky, and I see him smiling. Oh, Charlie, what will you leave behind you apart from all those Arabian horses you love so much, and all that horsepower and cars you could not drive, but garage them for their museum beauty? More likely, people will appreciate your collection of drumsticks that you use so effectively and well. Most likely, it will be the golden memories of smoke-filled jazz nights where you jam with the silver shining lights whose jazz roots were so very different to your rock day job. The other Stones were awed with your professionalism. You were married forever and a true jazz warrior. This is what I guess you leave behind you. The respect of your peers and every person who grew with your beats and every jazz lover who ever heard you after hours. And now that you're gone, we who are growing up with your beat may not have known near your end you did not drink. You were vegetarian, monogamous, married 57 years with one daughter, Serafina, one granddaughter, Charlotte. We knew you early on in Blues Incorporated with Alexis Corner. We knew you were a graphic designer. You entitled Between the Buttons and the artwork on the backside created a children's book dedicated to your hero, Charlie Parker. You bred Arabian horses, sheltered lost dogs and horses on your West Devon farm. You, so bored on Stone tours, sketched every hotel room you ever stayed in. You couldn't drive, but collected those classic cars and self-designed suits, over 200 of them. You collected drum kits, drumsticks, recovered from throat cancer, hardly missing a Stones gig over 57 years, even when those Glimmer twins were infighting again. Calm, professional, centered. You only gave interviews when your jazz projects were released to the public. A life well lived. The beat glows on. Thanks.
Good memories.
Charlie
Good
Watts, baby.
memories.
Charlie, the man.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I like a lot of us. I went and listened to a lot of those old Charlie Watts
Yeah.
interviews and such. And there was one that was sort of in mid-career sometime, and the interviewer asked him, "How long are you going to play with the Rolling Stones?" And he says, "Oh, I don't know. Best not to think about it too much."
That's right. Yeah. He thought it'd only be for a week or so. All these other bands folded up
It
for a week.
is typical self-effacement. One time they said, "You're a designer?" He says, "Yes, I call myself a designer because I'm not a good enough painter."
That's right. Yep. Yep. He made his own clothes.
That was Charlie. That was
Yeah.
we
Our Charlie.
knew him well, and we'll miss him much.
Yeah.
So okay, I guess it's me. Right? If I've numbered myself correctly, number 4. Well, last week when Paul said the theme was going to be gray, well, the month before, the theme was going to be birds. So I thought of the gray goose. And then he announced that the theme was going to be gray. So I thought of the gray goose. And also Darling Nellie Gray and the Old Gray Mare and the Whitcomb Fair, which I did, and you know, all that stuff. So that wasn't hard. I thought it was going to be hard to think of a Gray song, but it was not. But I ended up doing Whitcomb Fair, as I said, so I have saved the Gray Goose for you guys. I know 2 songs titled The Gray Goose, and they have absolutely nothing to do with each other. So I'm in. Okay, is my mic level okay? Yes, okay. So this is Leadbelly's Gray Goose. Last Sunday morning, Lord, 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 my daddy went a-hunting, Lord, 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 and he carried along his shotgun, Lord, 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 yes, he carried along his shotgun, Lord, 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 and the gun went to boo-loo. Lord, 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 along come the gray goose. Yeah, he's got to come along before he gets shot. Lord, 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 yes, along come the gray goose. Lord, 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 put his gun to his shoulder. Lord, 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 and pull back the hammer. Lord, 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 and the gun went to boo-loo. Lord, 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 oh, the gun went to boo-loo. Lord, Lord, Lord. And down come a gray goose. Lord, 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 well, down come the gray goose. Lord, 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 and he was 6 weeks falling. Lord, 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 but they were 6 weeks hauling. Lord, 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 in my wife and your life. Lord, 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 they had a feather picking. Lord, 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 they were 6 weeks of picking. Lord, 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 there were 6 weeks picking. Lord, 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 and they put him on the parboil. Lord, 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 and he was 6 weeks of parboiling. And then they said, I don't know, I think we could put him on for another 6 weeks. So they put him on for 6 weeks more. And then they put him on the barbecue. And then they tenderized him. And then they tried to eat him. So they put him on the table. Lord, 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 yes, they put him on the table. Lord, 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 and the knife wouldn't cut him. Lord, 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 and the fork couldn't sick him. Lord, Lord, Lord. And they throwed him in the hog pen. Lord, 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 yes, they throwed him in the hog pen. Lord, 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 and the hogs wouldn't eat him. Lord, 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 no, them hogs wouldn't eat him. Lord, Lord, Lord. So they took him to the sawmill, Lord, 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 but the saw couldn't cut him, Lord, 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 'cause it broke the saw's teeth out, Lord, 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 yes, he broke the saw's teeth out, Lord, Lord, Lord. And the last time I seen him, Lord, 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 yes, he was flying across the ocean, Lord, 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 with a long string of goslings, Lord, 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 and they was all going quack, quack, Lord, Lord, Lord. That's the story of the gray goose. Lord, 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 that's the story of the gray goose. Lord, Lord, Lord. Yeah.
The goose has
That's
been
out of the great tradition of songs about mystical animals that are indestructible.
totally true. Goose
So,
is
so who's number five? Number five. Who's got lucky number five?
Al.
Oh, it's the Becks.
Alan. Yeah.
Really nice to see you guys again. We've missed you. So I'm going to mute everybody. Oh, if I can get my finger on the button. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Okay, already, Alan Heron.
Okay,
All
great.
right, we've been traveling a little bit, but we're back.
Yeah.
And Karen's got a
Yeah, I'm going to
bit
start
on the
off.
clarinet.
Yeah, I got to reunite myself with my maid of honor from a few years back. Helen and I have been married over 30 years. Anyways, we got to get back together. I went and stayed with my friend Michelle, who's a bassoonist. And so I brought along some, once again, I'm sort of the duet person. I don't have the duet part. But anyways, I'm going to play the clarinet part. It's a Henry Purcell trumpet tune. So, you can put the math, it's an old piece, of course, but it was fun to see her and we had a great time. And so we spent our summer, Ellen and I both, getting to play lots of music with lots of friends throughout the country. It was really a great time. Okay. you. It was fun. All right, Al, you gonna play one?
Yeah, I don't know if you all caught Steve's little
I
dance there.
did. Thank you for dancing.
I didn't. I've never done this, but there's a thing where you can spotlight someone.
Yes, and you
Did
should.
it work? We'll see if it turns on the recording too.
Yeah.
So, on to Al.
Well, maybe I'll wait till the next time through. We'll go through everybody and then we'll come back to us.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I need to warm up a little bit on the accordion. After that.
Oh, All right.
Okay, you're muted, Terry. And I think David is number 6, but he got rid of his number for some reason. He
Oh, I
likes to
see.
be
Right in the
anonymous.
middle of all that, I started to laugh and I clicked something and bizarre stuff happened and I don't know what was going on. But anyway, so I'm sorry, you're saying we were.
David is
5.
numberless, but he's number
David's
6.
number 6. Well, that's because he's countless. So, all right, David Polachek, I'm going to mute everybody.
I know.
Okay, already.
So the reason I lost my number is that the Chromebook started acting up and I had to leave and come back on my iPhone. So anyway, I'm going to do a couple of Emily Dickinson poems today. As most of you know, I like to take classic poetry and set the words to a old tune. The first one I'm going to do is one I've done before, and the next one is one that I only played in my living room so far. It's brand new. But this first one is called Will There Really Be a Morning? And the tune is an old hymn tune, very often used to the text, for the bread which you have broken. Let me try that again. Will there really be a morning? Is there such a thing as day? Could I see it from the mountains if I were as tall as they? As it feed like water lilies, as it feathers like a bird, is it brought from famous countries of which I have never heard? Some scholar, oh some sailor, oh some wise men from the skies, please to tell a little pilgrim where the place called morning lies. Will there really be a morning? Is there such a thing as day? Could I see it from the mountains if I were as tall as they?
Very nice.
Lovely.
David's famous poetic settings.
He's got another.
Yes.
He's got another. That's good because that one was short. You got another one, Dave?
Okay. This one is one of Emily Dickinson's most famous poems. It's called Because I Could Not Stop for Death. And Some people say that you can sing it to the tune of the Yellow Rose of Texas, but that's not really a very good way of doing it, I don't think. So the tune I selected is The Leaving of Liverpool. Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The carriage held but just ourselves and immortality. We slowly drove, he knew no haste, and I had put away my labor and my leisure too for his civility. We passed the school where children strove at recess in the ring. We passed the fields of gazing grain. We passed the setting sun. Or rather, he passed us. The dews drew quivering and chill. For only gossamer my gown, my tippet only tulle. We paused before a house that seemed a swelling of the ground. The roof was scarcely visible, the cornice in the ground. Since then, 'tis centuries, and yet feels shorter than the day I first surmised the horses' heads were toward eternity.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, very nice.
Oh, good show.
And now, moving to Mary Jane, who is another of us who scorns to play one instrument at a time. But maybe this time you will. Probably the kazoo will make its appearance later, but we'll mute everyone. All yours, Mary Jane.
Okay. Well, you're right. I'm not going to play the kazoo on this song, but I am going to play it later. So you'll probably get plenty of time to get sick of it in the future, but it won't start with this song. I'm going to do Poncho and Lefty by Townes Van Sant. Living on the road, my friend, was gonna keep you free and clean, but now you wear your skin like iron, your breath's as hard as kerosene. You weren't your mama's only boy, but her favorite one, it seems. She began to cry when you said goodbye and sank into her dream. Poncho was a bandit, boys, his horse as fast as polished steel, wore his gun outside his pants for all the honest world to feel. Poncho met his match, you know, on the deserts down in Mexico. No one heard his dying words, but that's the way it goes. And all the federal down south ended up in Lefty's mouth. The day they laid poor Poncho low, Lefty split for Ohio, where he got the bread to go. So there ain't nobody knows. But all the federales say they could have had him any day. They only let him slip away out of kindness, I suppose. Now poets tell how Poncho fell. Lefty's living in a cheap hotel. The desert's quiet and Cleveland's cold, and so the story ends, we're told. Poncho needs your prayers, it's true, but save a few for Lefty too. He only did what he had to do, and now he's growing old. And all the federales say they could have had him any day. They only let him go so long out of kindness, I suppose. Yes, a few old gray federales say they could have had him any day. They only let him go so long out of kindness, I suppose.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary Jane.
Good one.
David,
Thank you
what
very
was that remark about the first and second verse?
What?
David
What?
made
The
a
first
remark in the
verse,
chat.
I never could figure out what the connection of the first verse was to the rest of the story.
Yeah, well, I think they're talking about Lefty in that, but I'm not sure. I mean, I didn't even know what the song was about until somebody told me it was about betrayal. And so Lefty betrayed Poncho, and Poncho got shot by the federales, and that's why I thought that probably that first verse was, you know, if he's living but he's not really living, you know, if his breath's as hard as kerosene.
I heard
But
it just.
it's a strange song, you know. I didn't even understand.
I
Mary,
always had he made it up on the spot in front of a couple of highway patrol
that's
policemen that's
correct.
not getting a
Yes,
ticket. So
yes,
it's kind of like stream of consciousness, and then he just wrote it the rest of it down.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
at least
Mary.
he wasn't having the night sweats or something like that other song you told us about.
No, he did. He never
Right.
had a license. I was friends with his manager, Harold Eggers, and he told me the story that Stuart shared with you, that he always drove, but he had no license, and he was a terrible driver. Anyway, he's pulled over by these two people, and he had the guitar, and they said, "What's that?" And he said, "It's a guitar." "Why?" "I'm a singer." "Oh yeah, prove it." So he sang that song on the spot and got off. And that is the truth according to the manager, Harold Eggers, of the wonderful
Well-deserved
folks.
verdict. Yes.
Well done.
Beautiful one. Good story, isn't it?
Okay, so where were we? Mary Jane's 007, so Jeffrey Hall is 008. So we'll mute everyone and proceed with Jeffrey Hall, if you will, please.
Hi, everybody. So I'm going to read a poem in memory of a good friend who passed away about a year ago. This is called Charm. I kept the supposedly mystical rock Patricia gave me For her 90th birthday, everyone got one, a black pebble with white stripes. Now in the window frame, it hangs in a frost feather mesh bag above a mystery plant. We all got one. A succulent rosette problem child that hates to be watered, falls down, threatens to rot. I repotted its stubborn ass, and Mondays I wedged 3 ice cubes in. It twinned. They tolerate a weekly ice melt under the spirit pebble. Thank you.
That is so cool.
Oh,
Awesome.
That's great. A little short. You want to do another one?
We have one of those plants and we don't know what it is either. Exactly like that. Somebody gave it to us.
Yeah, I tried to look it up. There's 2 different species that look identical, so it's impossible to tell. Let's see. So here's, all right, here's another one. This is called absence. A scallop shell, one life's work, the autobiography, an absent mollusk crafted in purple tiger checkered rose, meticulous accounting of the many sights of its 100 blue eyes, hunkered in sandy encampments between trip trigger flights, a life adventure archived in bivalve bone. I don't get to tattoo my skeleton with my true story.
Excellent.
oh yes.
Thank you.
Very good.
Very good, Jeff. Okay, I guess we've gone around, and most of you know, but Steve doesn't. We usually go around twice, and then if we haven't filled up our 2 hours, we take encores. So this will be the beginning of our second round. We'll begin again with Stuart. Muting everyone. And ready for Stuart.
Okay. This is from Richard Thompson, who's still going strong, very prodigious performer and songwriter of many types of songs. He somehow invented a bluegrass standard called Vincent 52 anyway, but that wasn't his calling. Someone else grabbed it. But this is a sad song called The Dimming of the Day, about a troubled relationship. This old house is falling down around my ears. I'm drowning in a river of my tears. When all my will is gone, you hold me sway, and I need you at the dimming of the day. You pull me like the moon pulls on the tide. You know just where I keep my better side. What days have come to keep us far apart? A broken promise or a broken heart? Now all the bonny birds have wheeled away, and I need you at the dimming of the day. Come On the night you're only what I want. Come the night you could be my confidant. I see you on the street in company. Why don't you come and ease your mind with me? I'm living for the night we steal away, and I need you at the dimming of the day. Yes, I need you at the dimming of the day.
Very good, Chris. And now we've come around to Steve again. So I'm going to mute everybody first. Muting everybody. And so please begin and unmute when ready.
I'm going to be joined on this song by my colleague. This is my colleague Tadpole. Say hello, Tadpole. Tadpole and me are going to sing you a sea shanty, aren't we, Tadpole? Okay. Now, the reason we call this a shanty is that shanties are work songs, and this is a song which was written for a little girl who spent the first 14 years of her life on a Hollywood treadmill. So as far as we're concerned, it's a work song, it's a shanty. Isn't it, mate? Okay. It goes like this. I've thrown away my toys, even my drum and train. I want to make some noise and plough the raging main. I want to go to sea, I'll be a captain too. And when I do, how would you like to be my crew? On the good ship Lollipop, it's a sweet trip to a candy shop where bonbons play on the sunny shores of Peppermint Bay. Lemonade stands everywhere, Cracker Jack bands fill the air, and there you are, happy landing on a chocolate bar. See the sugar bowl do the Tootsie Roll with the big fat devil food cake. If you eat too much, oh, oh, you'll awake with the tummy ache. On the good ship Lollipop, it's a night trip. Into bed you hop and dream away. On the good ship Lollipop.
Absolutely wonderful.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes, and you have to tell us where you
Tell us
found
what
that.
that instrument is.
Now that was the tadpole comes from Japan. My son was in Japan about 4 years ago, and he saw this in the back of his shop, a music shop, and he thought, Dad.
How many strings? How many strings?
Oh, there's no strings. It's just electronic. It's battery operated.
I thought it was like a one-string Vietnamese something, but
That's what it's based on, I think.
yeah, yeah.
But it was a retirement present from my son. What a lovely boy he is.
So I guess it has a repertoire then. The tadpole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Froggy
Well,
went
moving along to Tom, muting everybody. Okay. And now it's Tom time.
Now, we count our times by the lines on Keith Richards' face or Charlie Watts, and also the fact that they haven't had a hit record for 40 years, but neither have ABBA, the palindrome that was the most popular thing. But they're going to release a hologram, which they're going to send around the world of their new record. So I just thought that's worthwhile celebrating. It was 1972, I suppose. I saw ABBA from a tree overlooking the Maya Music Bowl in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. ABBA had been launched on ABC's Countdown by Molly Meldrum and had many hits in Australia long before Americans twigged. They toured Australia to acclaim and full houses and were adored to such an extent an Australian millionaire invited them on his Perth yacht and blocked his toilet to capture a genuine ABBA turd for posterity. Madness of fame, yes, but beloved in Oz. So much so, our national comic hero, Norman Gunston, Gary MacDonald, sang ABBA songs on his national ABC comedy hour every week. Superstars with divorces and messy lives, whose crafted pop hits became film soundtracks in later lives, broke up in the 80s, reunited 2021 via avatars. They were always one step ahead of the pop music market. Long live the palindrome. Long live ABBA. Dancing Queen. I have another short one for you, Quakers amongst you. We've just finished a forever war, so I thought, can we contemplate the idea of forever peace? Peace was declared. Poets were empowered to create a bill of responsibilities. For every age, a raga, haiku, sonnet, free verse, waltz, all military police spending divert to cultural and social amelioration, homeless hired for environmental works, refugees for refugee services, mini grants given to micro businesses, musicians like you hired for every hospital and healing in hospice, fruit trees planted in all public areas to supply food for those insecure in nutrition, community gardens extended to all areas, village plots for self-sustenance, walking encouraged by tracks everywhere, including bicycles. Volunteers assume responsibility for their own areas, cooperatives form for the supply of food and other services, peace studies at every level of education, including meditation, yoga, tai chi. Community centers were funded adequately and well, tax exempt and subsidized like churches. All schooling was free, supported by scholarships and benefactors. Empowerment for all ages, sexes, races, ability, a foundation principle. This all began yesterday in Austin. But if, like Juneteenth, you have not got the memo as yet, universal, unconditional musical peace has been declared as of this very afternoon. Enjoy, please. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Peace out, baby. Peace out.
We can dream.
And
Excellent.
thank you so much, Tom.
Quakers, yay.
Okay, time for number 4. We had this little discussion of what songs mean, and I confess that I really try not to trouble myself with the meaning of the songs I sing, because if I did, I'd be up all night. And, here's a good example. I started to ponder the meaning of this song, and it just drove me crazy. This is by a group with my very favorite name of a string band. This was recorded in the 20s by Fletcher Henley and the Aristocratic Pigs. And it's called Hop Along Peter. And I'll pick a harmonica at random and hope it's the right key. Oh, I got lucky this time. I can't resist. There we go. Well, old Uncle Peter, he got tight. Started up to heaven on a stormy night. Way being dark and he not well. He lost his way and he went straight to hop along Peter. Where he going? hobbled on a crutch. Duck chewed tobacco and the goose drank wine. The rooster played the fiddle on the pumpkin vine. Hop along, Peter, where you going? Hop along, Peter, where you going? Hop along, Peter, won't you bear in mind? Ain't come back till the gooseberry time. Out in the barnyard playing 7-Up. Old Tabby Cat and the little yellow pup. Old Mother Hubbard, she's picking out the fleas. The rooster in the cream jar up to his knees. And the roosters had knees. Hop along, Peter, where you going? Hop along, Peter, where you going? Hop along, Peter, won't you bear in mind? Ain't coming back till the gooseberry time. Well, I got a sweet girl in this town. She weighs an ounce, she weighs 700 pounds. Every time a sweet girl turns once around, the heel on her boots make a hole in the ground. Well, hop along, Peter, where you going? Hop along, Peter, where you going? Hop along, Peter, won't you bear in mind? Ain't coming back till the gooseberry time. Thank you.
Yay, Terry. Yay, Steve.
Yay!
Yeah.
What a team.
Well, I
Great.
tell you, this has really become the Terry Sorrell variety show. You do it all: storytelling, dancing, classical music,
Yeah,
cooking,
we
ladies
have
and
to
gentlemen.
remember to do this if people want to dance or people want, we can do
Well,
all sorts of cool things with
Headphones, everything.
Yeah, okay. Gonna get back to my regular view of
what
things
kind of
here
music
so I know
is
what's
for
up.
dancing to?
Yes.
Excuse me, what was that?
What kind of music is written for dancing to?
Absolutely.
I hear it, I wouldn't
Absolutely.
dance.
Well, most, American country music of the 20s is about.
Bring out the
you know,
alcohol. Let's go.
Yeah. Right. So, and that's why it has such silly verses, because they didn't really care. It was just a dance, too, so they made up whatever. So now for Al Beck. You got one for us now? Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah, I think
strapped
so.
up with the accordion there. Okay, I'm muting everyone. Now, if you can get a finger free, you can unmute.
I think we got it. Excuse me. We were just up in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and actually got a chance to go to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, place where all the people are called Yoopers. The Upper Peninsula called Yoopers, and a lot of Finns settled in that area about around the 1890s, right around there. So there's still big Finnish influence there. So while we were there, I learned a Finnish tune by the great accordionist Viola Turpainen, and she was Finnish native, but she toured that area in like the 1930s, 1940s, and some of the people up there, when I played this tune, they go, "Oh yeah, viola," It's like, okay. So this is the Ellen polka, and some of this Finnish music seems more like trance music, I think,
Yay, Al. Yay, Steve. Everybody did great.
If you're interested in any of this Finnish music, look her up. Viola Turpeinen, Turpeinen. They have some great pictures of her from the 1930s, 1940s, and she's much more alluring than I am. You know?
Hey, Al, is it true that the Finns in the 1890s moved to the Upper Peninsula for the warmer climate? Is that what it was?
And the less snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was big logging going on up there, and the Finns call that making wood, not cutting trees. They're making wood, making wood, and so there's the Finnish joke, you know, like um, the Finns were actually the first country to land a man on the moon, but there was no wood, so they left.
That's good. I used to listen to, there was this Finnish group called Vartina. Has anybody ever heard Vartina? There were a bunch of young,
Excellent.
yeah, there were a bunch of young people who met each other at a Finnish folk school and formed this group that did all sorts of wild rock and roll Finnish traditional crazy music. I used to.
There's another great Finnish accordion player. She's more modern. She teaches at the Finnish Music Academy. Her name is Maria Kalaniemi. If you look her up, it's some fun stuff. So.
They're such a cultured people. They all went to finishing school.
Yeah, where they all met singing.
Upon the store.
All right, let's see. So now for David Polachek. I think, if I haven't lost track, I think that's right. I'm going to mute everybody. Ready for you, Dave.
Well, as you know, I have two types of songs in my repertoire, somber and non-somber. And since the first two were rather somber, this one is a non-somber. It's left over from the Vauxhall theme one of Gray. It's called Once I Had an Old Gray Mare. Once I had an old gray mare, once I had an old gray mare, once I had an old gray mare, saddled her up and I rode to the fair. When I got there, she was getting pretty tired. When I got there, she was getting pretty tired. When I got there, she's getting pretty tired. She lay down in the old churchyard. Some began to sing and pray. Some began to sing and pray. Some began to sing and pray. My old mare began to bray. She wanted religion. Well, we took her to the river to be baptized, took her to the river to be baptized, took her to the river to be baptized, got her in the water up to her eyes, but the water wasn't deep enough. So the preacher went to souse her under, preacher went to souse her under, preacher went to souse her under, his foot slipped and he did blunder, he stepped on a slick rock. Well, my old mare, she walked right out, my old mare, she walked right out, my old mare, she walked right out, she began to sing and shout, she had that good old time religion. I got on my old mare's track, I got on my old mare's track, I got on my old mare's track, found her in a mud hole up to her back. She wasn't satisfied with her baptism. She started to walk along and she fell off, started to walk along and she fell off, started to walk along and she fell off. My old mare died of a whooping cough. No, it wasn't, it was a bad cold. Out with my knife and I begin, out with my knife and I begin, out with my knife and I begin. Wasn't many hours till I had her skin. That was one Sunday morning as I came home from Quaker meeting. I took the hide home and I put it in the loft. Took the hide home and I put it in the loft. Took the hide home and put it in the loft. Along came a rogue and carried it off. I guess he was gonna make him a pair of boots out of it. Well, darn that rogue that carried it off. Darn that rogue that carried it off. Darn that rogue that carried it off. Left my toes all out to the frost.
Oh, that's actually a new one on me. That's good. Yeah. And Steve, what were you playing?
A saw. A saw.
Oh, okay. I just couldn't see it well enough. Yeah, we can imagine the sauce and you know, when he was playing along with Al, I could hear the tambourine. It was miraculous, but I could hear it.
Well, Steve, I grew up in the Salvation Army, and that was some of the best tambourining I've ever seen. I just want to know that.
Yes, okay. We are now moving on to Mary Jane. Muting everybody. And ready for Mary Jane.
Okay, I'm going to play a song called Rank Stranger by Albert E. Brumley. It was performed by the Stanley Brothers and the Clinch Mountain Boys. It has some echoing in it, kind of like a gospel song, but since there's only one of me, I'm having to improvise the echoing, as you'll see. I wandered again to my home in the mountains, where in youth's early dawn I was happy and free. I looked for my friends, but I never could find them. I found they were all rank strangers to me. Everybody I met seemed to be a rank stranger. No mother or dad, not a friend could I see. They knew not my name, and I knew not their faces. I found they were all rank strangers to me. I searched every place for a sign of the loved ones. I asked everyone where the old folks might be. I went down the road to inquire of the neighbors, but I found they were all rank strangers to me. They all moved away, said the voice of a stranger, to a beautiful home by a bright crystal sea. Some beautiful day I'll meet them in heaven, where no one will be a stranger to me. Everybody I met seemed to be a rank stranger. No mother or dad, not a friend could I see. They knew not my name,
Yay!
Love that song. Love that song.
Yeah, that's nice. Thank you, Mary
That's
Jane.
good stuff.
And now for Jeffrey Hall.
I don't have any mountain boys or brothers to help me with the echoings.
Oh, yeah. Well, we were all echoing on
You're
here.
you're high lonesome in there.
Right. Okay. I'm muting everyone for Jeffrey here. Ready for Jeff.
Okay. I'm going to try something on my viola. This is called In the Gloaming. I don't really know anything about this song. It says it's by A. Harrison. And it's in the key of F.
Very nice. Very nice.
A little bit wobbly, but not too bad. Thank
Oh,
you.
it wasn't bad at all. Yeah. Yeah, we liked it. Yeah. And look, here's Al Christian, or at least his belly button. There you are. Well, you got a song for us this time, Al?
Oh, sure,
Oh,
sure,
great.
sure.
We've been waiting
you,
for this. Here we
I
go.
see you all have been dancing, so I'll try to play a dance tune here.
Okay, I'm muting everyone. Hold
Okay.
on. Hold on. Keep your hand on the plow and ready for you to unmute.
Okay, I was standing up. I grabbed my copy of Heart Songs, and sure enough, In the Gloaming is in there on page 300. Right? So if anyone want to look it up, it's in there. What am I going to do? Okay, Steve, you're done it. This wasn't a dance tune originally, but I'm trying to move it in that direction. Dear to this heart are the scenes of my childhood, when fond recollection restores them to view. The wide-spreading pond and the mill that stood by it, the bridge and the rock where the cataract fell. The orchard, the meadow, a deep tangled wildwood, and every love spot that my infancy knew. The cot of my father, the dairy house night, leaving the crude bucket that hung in the well. That old oaken bucket, that iron-bound bucket, that moss-covered bucket that swung in the well. That moss-covered bucket I held as treasure for all times at noon when returned from the field. I found it the source of an exquisite pleasure, the purest and sweetest that nature can give. Now ordered by ceased from hand with hands that were glowing, and quick to the white petal bottom it fell, and filled with the emblem of truth, overflowing and dripping with coolness, it rose from the well. That old oaken bucket, that moss-colored bucket, that iron-bound bucket that swung in the well. How sweet from the green mossy brim to receive it, as paws on the turf it inclined to my lips. No full blushing goblet could cause me to leave it, though filled with the nectar that you bitter sips. And now far removed from that loved habitation, the tear of regret will intrusively swell, as fancy returns to my father's plantation and sighs for the bucket that swung in the well. That old oaken bucket, that iron-bound bucket, that moss-covered bucket that swung in the well.
Muted, Terry.
Muted. I say, whoa, there's Paul Clark. And Paul, you've missed some dandies. Steve has been regaling us with exotic instruments and dancing. And
I've seen him elsewhere, so I know quite a lot of his tricks and repertoire.
you know his tricks.
His novelty hasn't worn off on us yet, Paul. So there you go.
That's right. It's all
No, nor me.
Well, neither has Paul's novelty. So Paul is just in time to give us a song if you got one for us.
Okay.
I'll mute everybody. Hold on. And ready for Paul.
Right. This mentions Virginia, which is sort of your Virginia, in that it's about tobacco. But it's sort of in celebration of it, but it's, well, proves not to be as well, in a sense. I'm afraid there are some rather, one or two English references that I perhaps ought to explain. The waters of the Test is the River Test, which anyone who is a fly fisherman anywhere in the world will know about the River Test, because it's most famous in the world for trout and salmon fishing. But more specifically here, it's the west boundary of the city of Southampton where this is set. It mentions a place called the General, which is our General Hospital, and Regent's Park, which is a suburb. It's nothing to do with the one in London, which is where the site of the British American tobacco factory was, which gets mentioned as the old tobacco factory too. Churchill, of course, is our wartime leader, but the reference here is that he used a cigar as a prop, and Sherlock Holmes, of course, smoked a pipe. Carmen, the opera, was set in a cigarette-making factory. Ophelia is Hamlet's other half, and Hamlet, I don't know whether they were in America, but over here they were a brand of cigar. Yeah, okay, yes, so you had them too, okay, right. And there are some references, I'm sure all people of your age will remember things like there was a cigarette called The Strand, which was promoted as You're Never Alone with a Strand, and Players' Weights. Did you have Players' Weights as well? Players might have been a British tobacco manufacturer, and Raleigh, Walter Raleigh, was actually a pirate effectively, but he was out in the Caribbean. He was the person who is kind of recorded as being the person who brought back tobacco and potatoes at the same time to England. So they all get a mention in here. Anyway, he was sitting on a bench outside the General as I parked me bike and took me helmet off, and he called to me to say he used to ride a BSA, but he'd had to pack it in, it made him cough. He said, Me lovely wife, she went before me, but I keeps her ashes in a little urn. And I've asked our eldest daughter to scatter us on the waters of the test, so we all flow together when it comes me turn. It was cigarettes what took her, and they'll do the same for me, though they always seemed a good thing for the town. Ah, the smell of sweet Virginia drifting over Regent's Park. Now the old tobacco factory's closing down. He said, I reckon if it wasn't for tobacco, Churchill would have never won the war, and Sherlock Holmes would never have been so bleeding clever, and she might not have died so premature. Bizet would have never written Carmen, Ophelia might have picked a different man, and I'd not sit here warning, 'cause we didn't heed the warning, but I'd still be all alone without a strand. It was cigarettes what took her, and they'll do the same for me, though they always seemed a good thing for the town. Ah, the smell of sweet Virginia drifting over Regent's Park. Now the old tobacco factory's closing down. Now if Raleigh hadn't brought his duty-frees back to please his queen and earn her grateful thanks, well, later in the day they would have got here anyway, but at least we could have blamed the bleeding Yanks. She wasn't what you'd call a raving beauty, but we loved each other faithful down the years. Now she's waiting by the gates with a pack of players' weights, and with any luck she'll have gone to fetch the beers. It was cigarettes what took her, and they'll do the same for me, though they always seemed a good thing for the town. Ah, the smell of sweet Virginia drifting over Regent's Park. Now the old tobacco factory's closing down. Ah, the smell of sweet Virginia drifting over Regent's Park. Now the old tobacco factory's closing down. Brian Hooper.
Really good. Songs about tobacco, or whether they are there and we just don't sing them. Well, that's 2 times around, and the night is young, so I guess we are in the phase of our program where we accept volunteers and encores. Who would like to play? I see Tom and Stuart and
Steve,
everybody,
and Paul,
and Steve,
and
yeah.
Paul.
Happy days.
That's everybody.
We can do another round.
Let's go around again. That'll make
Yay!
it simpler.
Yay!
So
Now we're talking real
we will
folk.
start with Stuart. I'm muting all. Ready for you.
Okay, I missed out on the Grey song session, but my Grey song would have been "How Great Thou Art." Enough of that. Anyway, this is a simple song from Graham Parsons from 1968, from the southern part of the United States, called "Hickory Wind." It's a nice little gentle song, not too long. And it goes so well with a semi-English accent, so there you go, a semi-English accent. In South Carolina, there are many tall pines. I remember the oak tree that we used to climb, but it makes me feel better each time it begins calling me home. Hickory wind. I started out younger, had most everything, all the riches and pleasures. What else could life bring? But now that I'm lonesome, I always pretend that I'm getting the feel of hickory wind. It's a hard way to find out that trouble is real in a faraway city with a faraway feel. But it makes me feel better each time you begin calling me home, hickory wind, calling me home, hickory wind.
Thank you, Stuart. That's lovely.
American
You're
polka.
welcome.
Oh, moving along to Steve then. I'll mute everybody. Oops. Okay, just give me a minute. All right, ready for you, Steve.
Okay, so this is a song about a man who really enjoys being on lockdown so that he can spend all day with his sweetheart doing what they love doing, which is drinking tea. So they obviously must be a British couple, and they like to eat cake as well. I'm discontented with homes that are rented, and so I've invented my own. Darling, this place is a lover's oasis where life's weary chase is unknown. Far from the crowded city, where flowers pretty caress the stream, cozy to hide in, to live side by side in, don't let it just reside in my dream. Oh, picture you upon my knee, tea for two, and two for tea, and me for you, and you for me alone. Nobody near us to see us or hear us, no friends or relations or weekend vacations won't have it known that we own a mobile phone. Day will break and then we'll wake and start to make a healthy carrot cake to show on Zoom for everyone to see. And we can raise a family, a girl for you and another girl for me. Can't you see how happy we shall be? And we can raise a family, a girl for you and another girl for me. Can't you see how happy we shall be? Oh.
Yay! Yay!
Terrific.
Massachusetts.
Boy, that was great.
Yeah, Steve could make good use of one of those great handmade kazoos like Mary Jane plays. Who
That
who
was
was
great.
it? Who is it that makes those?
um, a guy named Walter in my ukulele group.
Yeah, well,
I was just admiring your kazoo. It's lovely.
yeah. Give us a close up, Mary Jane. Have you got it on yet?
Oh, yeah. Well, this is
There you go.
the
Now that's a
side,
kazoo.
and then it's got a harmonica rack. This is the same kind of rack that's used for harmonica. So he makes them by hand. I can't remember what his last name is right now. It's something like Mizzles or something like that.
Yes, the world of wonderful
But
instruments.
I could get in touch with him for any of y'all
You
if you
got to
wanted.
negotiate. But anyway, we're going on to Tom Woodruff here, Spirit Tom, muting everybody, and ready for Tom.
Okay, following on from the wonderful Steve, this is the Chronicles of Future Folk in Austin, Texas. Oh, spirits of Austin, Texas, beginning with Barton Springs, ancient site for water blessing, festivals, music, and poetry, extending to 6th Street, where a burgeoning bar district, musicians played inside and outside on the street, extending to the Red River district, as well as Fab 4th Street. Council tried to revive 2nd Street with Willie Nelson in Stone Glory. Then Rainy Street burst forth in bars and bards, music and festivals, days of South by Southwest with 1 million musicians march for peace embedded within. Like around our Capitol grounds with tents for the free Texas Book Festival, extending down Congress Avenue, itself a site for theaters, coffee shops, jazz venues. Now the area that once housed Full English Cafe and Strange Brew revives in South Austin with a new Captain Quackenbush coffee shop next to Lazy Days Head Shop and a new bookstore, Reverie, soft opening next week in September. Our ancestors came to these springs to celebrate. Their progeny adopted 6th Street, 4th Street, 2nd Street, Rainy Street, Congress, and Red River. Now ceremonial, musical, landscapes connect the dots. Welcome back, oh true folk spirits of Austin, Texas. Yay!
But I still haven't gotten over the closing of Full English Cafe. It was the
Neither
only
have I.
place-
It breaks
only
my heart.
place in Austin to get a full English breakfast, which
That's so
for
true.
us is exotic food.
And I was there when they were painting over the William Blake poem and it broke
Oh
my heart.
no!
It's now a vegan place, and that's the end of the world when things become vegan. Yeah? Full English breakfast is a
Yeah,
carnival
that
delight.
must have been a sad moment to watch.
It broke my heart.
Yeah, go away. Okay, I guess it's time for me. I guess I'll do one. I haven't practiced this one at all. This song comes to us mostly an instrumental piece, but has a few simple words from Reverend Gary Davis. Though it was kind of a famous guitar piece. Though Reverend Gary did play the banjo. He did some wonderful things on the banjo, but he didn't do this one. Candyman, you probably all know it. Candyman, 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 sweet Candyman. Will give anything in this kind of mighty world to get my Candyman home. Run, get the pitcher, get the baby some beer. Run, get the pitcher, get the wish I was in New Orleans sitting on the candy stand. Little red light, little green light, little red light, little green light, little red light, little green light. You got to step on the red and go on the green. Stay away from history in between. Run, get the picture, get the baby some beer. Run, get the picture, get the baby some beer. Run, get the picture, get the baby some beer. Run, get the picture, get the baby some beer. Candyman, my sweet Candyman. Give anything in this kind of mighty world. Get my Candyman home. Candyman, 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 oh Candyman. Well, I wish I was in New Orleans sitting on the candy stand.
Good version, good version.
There's a new Candyman movie coming out, by the way, Terry.
You
may be
another thing.
You may be in business.
There's also a nice Mississippi John Hurt song called Candyman.
Isn't Candyman slang for a pimp? And isn't that the context of
You
that
know,
song?
I've been trying to figure that out. I always understood that. However,
Yeah, I've
when I
heard it
listen
somewhere. I don't know where.
particularly to the words of the Mississippi John Hurt song, they don't make sense
Yeah, yeah.
if we're talking about a pimp.
Yeah, well,
It sounds
I
like
think there
more
are
of a
several. I
gigolo.
think there may be several definitions, might there? So
Yeah.
quite
A
different-
drug dealer is a candy man.
Ah,
Bring in the
right.
candy, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that
Spoken from
Gary Davis
experience,
was-
Tom. Spoken from experience.
Oh, what would I know? What would I know?
So you've heard.
I've heard. A friend told me.
Okay, Ellen Karen, you got a tune for us? I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
All right, muting everyone. Ready for you.
Am I back on now? Yes? Okay. When we were up in the Upper Peninsula there, I mentioned all the Finns that moved there for logging, but there was also a lot of large copper mines up there. And apparently they imported a bunch of Welsh miners to help run the mines. And even to this day, there's a lot of restaurants that serve pasties up there, like those meat pies. One place we went to was this Connie's Diner, and they had pizza and pasties, so which was kind of unusual. And turns out there's about 8 restaurants right in that area that kind of specialize in pasties, and you can even get them frozen to go if you want, you know. So when we were in the restaurant, I had to have one, you know. It was meat with potatoes, onions, and rutabagas inside it. And the waitress asked me if I wanted mustard or ketchup for it, you know. And having never eaten one, I asked her, I said, well, what's your favorite? And she goes, oh, I love mine with gravy. So I said, well, bring me a cup of gravy then. So I had a Welsh pasty, however you say it, up in.
Yeah, I heard there's a bunch of Cornish miners moved there and brought that tradition with them back in the early 1900s.
Yeah, they're all gone now, except now the Finns think that they invented them.
No.
So anyway, I got another polka for you, the Hasselblad Steppen. Temporarily distracted by the dancing.
Stephen Miss Mop.
Pulled out his dancing ghost. Threw me
Yes,
off.
and the ghost.
Yeah, his dancing mop. Yeah, and you know, darn it, Full English was the last place to get a pasty in Austin too. But the Americans are often confused, thinking it's pasty, which means something else here.
Yeah, I think Tom knows about that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
That's another thing that means something different in English, because pasty just means pale, like in a pasty expression. And sometimes when you've got
Pasties refer to the little coverings that
Yeah.
exotic dancers wear.
Nipple guards. Yeah.
Some often with a nice elaborate tassel that can be twirled.
Yeah.
I
Swingers.
can't do that. I'd have to practice, but you wouldn't want to see it. Okay, where are we? There's Al and Karen and David Polachek, I think. Muting everyone. Ready for David.
Thank you, Terry. So, to me, the greatest honor that a songwriter can get is when a song enters into tradition and people think it's a folk song. And I think that this is one of the things that happened with this next one. It's one of my favorites, written by a absolutely fantastic songwriter from England named John Connolly. And it's called Fiddler's Green. And it's a sort of a mixture of somber and non-somber. It's so high-hearted that you don't really realize right away that it's about death. But it's a lovely song. It's called Fiddler's Green, and it's got a great chorus. Here's the chorus. Dress me up in me oilskin and jumper, no more on the docks I'll be seen. Just tell me, old shipmates, I'm taking a trip, mates. I'll see you someday in Fiddler's Green. As I walked by the dockside one evening so rare, to view the still waters and taste the salt air, I heard an old fisherman singing this song, saying, take me away, boys, me time is not long. Dress me up in me oilskin and jumper, no more on the docks I'll be seen. Just tell me, old shipmates, I'm taking a trip, mates. I'll see you someday in Fiddler's Green. Now Fiddler's Green is a place I've heard tell, where fishermen go when they don't go to hell, where the weather is fair and the dolphins do play, and the cold coast of Greenland is far, far away. Dress me up in me oilskin and jumper, no more on the docks I'll be seen. Just tell me, old shipmates, I'm taking a trip, mates. I'll see you someday in Fiddler's Green, where the weather is fair and there's never a gale, and the fish jump on board with a flip of their tail. You can lie at your leisure, there's no work to do, and the skipper's below making tea for the crew. Dress me up in me oilskin and jumper, no more on the docks I'll be seen. Just tell me, old shipmates, I'm taking a trip, mates. I'll see you someday on Fiddler's Green. And when you're in port and the long trip is through, there's pubs and there's clubs and there's lassies there too, where the girls are all pretty and the beer is all free, and there's bottles of rum growing from every tree. Dress me up in me oilskin and jumper, no more on the docks I'll be seen. Just tell me, old shipmates, I'm taking a trip, mates. I'll see you someday on Fiddler's Green. I don't want a harp or a halo, not me. Just give me a boat and a good rolling sea, and I'll play my old squeeze box as we sail along, with the wind in the rigging to sing me this song. Dress me up in me oilskin and jumper, no more on the docks I'll be seen. Just tell me, old shipmates, I'm taking a trip, mates. I'll see you someday round Fiddler's Green. Just tell me, old shipmates, taking a trip, mates. I'll see you someday on Fiddler's Green.
I'm surprised to learn how contemporary that is, because there's this Australian song that I always guessed was related because the melody is very similar and the theme is the same. And I can't remember the title of it, but it goes, wrap me up in me stock whipping blanket.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
And bury me deep down below, where the dingoes and crows can't molest me. In
And the
the
place.
shade where the coolie bars grow.
Yeah.
Well, I
It's a
figured that
very-
was traditional, but maybe not. I don't know.
It's a spin-off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Spin-off of
John
the
Connolly.
Connolly song, or the Connolly song is a spin-off of the Australian song?
The Australian came second.
Yep.
Really?
John Connolly has had people, I think in Ireland and maybe elsewhere, insisting to his face that it's traditional. And there is a downside to being honoured, because in fact I think some of the big bands, I don't want to name names on a recording, but some of the big bands I think who recorded it in all innocence put it down as traditional, and then he didn't get any royalties for them, and I believe he may still be struggling with legal cases to try and get all that recognised.
The closest traditional song to me is the Dark-Eyed Sailor. It's a very, very
That's a similar melody, isn't it? Yeah.
and the words begin the same way. So
Yeah. I started this website and I did some research on every song I put up on the website. I thought they were all traditional, but it convinced me that maybe 80-90% of the songs that we think are folk songs were either written in the 20s or right, or they're an old minstrel song, or at least they're a broadside, you know. So this whole business of folk music and traditional music is a little dicey. So, but it's fun. So who's next? I've lost track. That was David. So we're up to Mary Jane. 007. The mission is yours. I'm going to mute everyone. And we're all ready.
I'm going to do a Jimmy Rogers song. It's Peach Picking Time in Georgia. I think they said it was 1933. I don't guess it's a folk song, but it seems like one to me. When it's peach picking time in Georgia, apple picking time in Tennessee, cotton picking time in Mississippi, everybody picks on me. When it's roundup time in Texas, the cowboys make whoopee. And way down in old Alabama, it's gal picking time to me. Yodelay-ho, yodelay-ho, yodelay. There's the bluegrass down in Kentucky. Virginia's where they do the swing. Carolina, now I'm coming to you to spend the spring. Arkansas, I hear you calling. I know I'll see you soon. There's where we'll do a little picking underneath the Ozark moon. Yodelay-ho, yodelay-ho, yodelay. Now when hard times overtake you, I hope they don't get me, for I've got a sweetie waiting for me down in Tennessee. I know I'm going to see her. I hope it won't be long. There's where we'll pick a little cabin and call it our mountain home. Yodelay-ho, yodelay-ho, yodelay. When the pickaninnies pick the cotton, I'll pick the wedding ring. We'll go to town and pick a little gown for the wedding in the spring. I hope the preacher knows his business. I know he can't fool me. When it's peach picking time in Georgia, it's gal picking time to me. Yodelay-ho, yodelay-ho, yodelay. Yodelay-ho, yodelay-ho, yodelay.
Mary Jane,
Good.
on the 17th of September at Shriner University, there's the Jimmy Rogers tribute, which has been going for about 15 years now. Dr. Kathleen Hudson has got together. I'll be doing poetry for Jimmy Rogers there, and some of his family will be performing. That's the 17th of September, all day at Shriner University in Kerrville. Do come.
Singing brakeman.
Well, thank you for that information. I do not guarantee to travel that far, but I only, yeah, I do know several Jimmy Rogers songs,
Excellent.
but
Not
I
to
don't
be
know that they'd
confused.
be that interested in my delivery.
Of course, they're folk people. They've all folked.
Not to
He
be
and the
confused
Carter
with the
family got
later
those early
Jimmy
record
Rogers.
contracts from the New York record companies, and the rest is history.
Yeah, he died in New York,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Okay, Jeffrey, do you have something for us? Okay,
Okay.
I'll mute everybody. Just a minute. All ready now.
Okay, this is just a couple of lines. It's called, they say this is a Welsh air, and it's called All Through the Night, and it's in C. Let's try this again. Thank you.
Jeffrey.
Right.
That does have words to it as well. There's a
Yeah, it does.
like
Classic song. You got another, Jeff, or shall we move along?
I think that's plenty for me today. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Jeffrey.
letting me play.
Alrighty, Al. Another one from you, I hope. Muting everyone. Here we go. Muting. Muting I go. Okay.
Is this for me? Okay. Hey, okay. Well, Mary Jane got me stirred up here on Jimmy Rogers. All around the water tank, waiting for a train. 1,000 miles away from home, sleeping in the rain. I walked up to a brakeman just to give him a line of talk. He says, if you've got money, son, I'll see that you don't walk. Well, I haven't got a nickel, not a penny, can I show? Get off, you railroad bum, and he slammed that boxcar door. He put me off in Texas, state I dearly love. Wide open spaces all around me, and the moon and stars above. Nobody's seen or want me or to give me a helping hand. I'm on my way from Frisco, going back to Dixieland. My pocketbook is empty, my heart is full of pain. I'm I'm 1,000 miles away from home, just waiting for a train.
Hey, Al, thank you. And perhaps we can get one more from Paul.
Okay.
I'll mute everyone and see. Muting already.
Okay, this is actually this is not inspired by the mention of Cornish pasties, but this is the Padstow Farewell. Padstow being fishing port in Cornwall. But actually, I've only learnt this fairly recently from somebody who did get it from the guy. This is one of these songs that must be traditional in a sense, that somebody found it in a library in an uncredited book with the words written down, and some record of the music, but they didn't know how to read music, so they got someone else to show them. That's a guy called Mervyn Vincent, who's dead now. But he was the person who it's most associated with, and sort of made it their closing club song of the club he was at. And I've added a verse or two at the end and rewritten a bit to sort of take out the specifically Christian references in here, in memory of Rich Galloway. I don't know whether he ever came to your sings. He was up from the Silver Springs in Maryland, and visited many Zooms over the thing. But he's just died of metastatic cancer or something last couple of days. And I sort of got to know him quite well, even though he's only a collection of pixels like all you are, on a screen. So I put a couple of verses in for him too. It is time to go now. Haul away your anchor. Haul away your anchor. 'Tis our sailing time. Put the sails upon her. Haul away your halyards. Haul away your halyards. 'Tis our sailing time. Set her on her course now. Haul away 4 sheets. Haul away 4 sheets. 'Tis our sailing time. Till the seas run under. Haul away down channel. Haul away down channel. On the evening tide. As we part the ways here, haul away in harmony. Haul away in harmony, and richer than we came. Fair winds and shelter, wherever the haven. Wherever the haven you are heading for. Now your journey's over. Haul away safe homeward. Haul away safe homeward to the great beyond. No more stormy waters, sailing on forever. Sail ye on forever, our friend in song.
Oh, quite beautiful. Could you say the name of this man again?
Rich Galloway.
Rich Galloway. I remember we had someone from Silver Springs, but I don't know.
Well, though there are quite a lot of, but Silver Springs seems to be quite an arty colony, and so there were quite a lot of people I've met on there who a disproportionate number who come from around there. Fred Stolnitz is one who runs the. He's quite big in the folk society of Greater Washington, and Seven Savage, I think, is another who was a good friend of Rich's. One or two others too. More. I'd never heard of Silver Springs before, but I kind of know.
Right.
I know where it is now through having looked up where these people came from.
We've become very fond of all our friends who are just
Indeed.
a collection of pixels. Pickles, the pickle friends too.
Pickle people. Being pickles.
But it's true. They're dear friends. And now it's time for our parting song, and a reminder that the Celtic session comes up next Sunday. One more of these sessions.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow Sunday.
Oh,
Tomorrow
yeah.
Sunday is the Celtic session. So
Yeah.
So don't get confused. Tomorrow is Celtic at 2:00 Central Standard Time in the U.S. And
Central
and of course-
Daylight Time.
Excuse me.
Central Daylight Time.
CDT. Yes.
Still on CDT, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. Yeah. And if you get
8 p.m.
confused, there's a link to a little time calculator in the email I send every week. So, and of course, the Folksel is on Wednesday, right? And how would people hook into that? Can you?
Well, you can visit the website there that's on my screen name, folksel.org, or you can send me an email at paul@folksel.org.
Oh, okay. And it's marvelous. So it's quite well attended. I think we had 40 at least.
Well, not quite, but yeah, the theme nights seem to be bringing in a few more people than normal. So I think we had about 37 maximum, about 33 at any one
So if you
time.
want to play just one song,
Yes, they generally are. We run for 3 hours, but we did only get around once this time.
Okay, so here's Happy Trails for everybody. Kept asking myself all the way through Candyman if I should stop and tune the banjo. Well, that's close enough for you to stand in, I think. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing the song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again. Some trails are happy ones, other trails are blue. It's the way you're on the trail that counts. Here's a happy one for you. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing the song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again.
Yay! Thank you, Jerry.
Bye, Buckaroos.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Oh, thank you, Stuart.
Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you, Steve. Much fun.
Thank you.